Okay, here we have a Burns guitar, a Burns Marquee Pro. It's an improvement on the standard Marquee, largely because it's loaded with the world famous trisonic Burns pickups, well famous for being the pickups that Brian May loaded into his homemade guitar all those many years ago, and became the backbone of the Queen sound, together with, has to be admitted, some quite special bits of amplifier and tone booster, also probably homemade. In those days, Burns were made in London, handcrafted in London, and for anybody who likes a little bit of guitar history, there's a sort of family of guitar manufacturers that through the years shared personnel and shared technology, and also shared certain ways of doing things. They come from Burns, and they moved through to make Haymans, which are sought after guitars on the second-hand market nowadays, and Shergolds, less sought after than the Hayman, but nonetheless Shergolds have a lot of the features of these originally British-made guitars. And one of the features that all of the families share is a really nice playable neck. In the case of the Shergolds, in the case of all of them, originally they were handcrafted and hand finished. So the maple neck is a sort of a Fender Stratocaster sort of feel to it. So it's a sort of a standard bolt-on maple neck, but it's beautifully finished in a high gloss lacquer. You'll note the headstock is a bit unique. It's intended that way, I think, originally to put the connection between these British handmade guitars and classical instruments of the past, which of course the best were all were handmade, and the best are still known today. For instance, Stradivarius violins. So there's that sort of scroll effect which you would normally expect to see on a violin or cello. Another little idiosyncrasy is the name badge. They nailed them on Perspex name badges, and the Marquee Pro continues that tradition. Moving down beyond the sealed tuners, we move down to the nut, which is it feels like a graphite nut, and it's set in the slot. It's not the type that sits against the top of the fretboard. There's a slot sawn in there, and the nut's dropped in. But the nut doesn't have any other job to do in this instance than string spacing, because the intonation or stopping of the string length is done by a 0 fret. Now the 0 fret has advantages in as much as it balances the tone of open strings with fretted strings, and it also helps with sustain. It's easier to get the intonation correct at factory level. It has a disadvantage in as much as after several years of constant contact with strings under tension, the 0 fret will wear faster than any other fret. The consequences of that, there's the possibility that as you bend the string, it could pop out of the little groove that it's made for itself, and some people claim that causes a ping to be heard. Anyway, it's not something you should worry about for many years, and it's not something you should worry about terminally, because the fret can easily be replaced. The fretboard isn't bound, so there's no problem there. Let's move quickly on to the body. This is a basswood body, and it is essentially a Stratocaster body. That is, you could hold it up against a Stratocaster and it would be exactly the same. That's always been the case, as Burns Marquees were introduced to compete with the Stratocaster, or actually to fill the gap that the Stratocaster left in the early days by not exporting enough guitars to England. Anyway, moving on. We have 3 trisonic pickups. We have a master volume, and we have a tone that works for the neck pickup and a tone that works for the middle pickup. The bridge is a floating vibrato or trem bridge, 2 capstans, springs at the back. The vibrato arm, strangely enough, doesn't screw in. This is an old-fashioned design. It's a long piece that goes into there, but if you tip your guitar upside down it will fall out, so bear in mind. I suspect some people will make that a little bit more secure with a bit of insulating tape around there. Also worth mentioning, if you buy this guitar, is to get yourself a right angled jack so that you don't have the big jack plug sticking out there. That way the arm will move away and behind, but at the moment it bashes into that, which is annoying. Okay, that covers the construction. Let's have a listen to the pickup. So I should mention actually that that the tone switch here is push and pull, and that alters the way the pickups are selected. So let's just go through the pickups on standard switching. So that's the bridge. The next position on this 5-way selector is bridge and middle. Next position, the middle position or third position, is the center pickup, the middle pickup. The next position is neck and middle together. And the last position is the neck on its own. So that is basically a standard 5-way switching on a 3 pickup guitar. There are combinations missing from that. The bridge and neck and all 3 on at the same time are combinations that are normally missing, but with the push-pull tone control down here, you pull that out and it changes the way the pickup selector works. So now the first position and the 5th position give you both these pickups, the bridge and the neck, together. Any of the other 3 positions will put all 3 pickups on. So another quick run through those. Bridge, bridge middle, middle, middle neck, neck on its own, bridge and neck, and then free. Sadly no longer made in Britain. These are made in China. Chinese guitar manufacturing has come along in leaps and bounds, and you would not guess the difference between Chinese, Korean or Indonesian or even Mexican. Their production values are really good. It says on the scratch plate, handcrafted by Burns, London. That is more of a statement of history than it is a statement of fact. I really like the Burns guitars because I was brought up on a Shergold, which, as I said before, is part of that family. There are things about it that are idiosyncratic. The 60s joy of putting unnecessary decoration on things, and the curled headstock there are probably going to be points which will turn some people off, but it's got character, it's got British character, and it's a really nice alternative for somebody who might be looking at a Strat or a Strat copy.